Imagine waking up to find half the city eating the other half, and the only warning you had was a news report you scrolled past yesterday. Subscribe to Think What If for more stories that push your imagination to the edge.
Is amazing. Just dab it lightly for the perfect glow.
The viral load is increasing exponentially.
We need to verify these readings immediately.
Right now, as you watch this transformation unfold on screen, layer by layer of makeup turning human skin into something unrecognizable, scientists in biosafety labs across the globe are studying pathogens that could rewrite what it means to be human. The brush strokes you see here mirror something far more terrifying. They mirror the slow crawl of infection. It starts with a bite. Not from Hollywood magic, but from nature's own horror show. And what we're painting on this face today is not fantasy. It's a warning written in latex and blood-red pigment. Let me take you inside the real science first. Rabies. You know the name, but do you understand what it does? The virus travels through your nerves like a passenger on a one-way train to your brain. Once it arrives, it rewires everything. It makes you afraid of water because swallowing becomes agony. It fills you with rage and confusion. It pushes you to bite, to spread itself, to create more hosts. The World Health Organization reports nearly 60,000 deaths every year. And once symptoms appear, survival is nearly impossible. Your body becomes a vehicle for something else's agenda. Now watch as we add the first layer of pale foundation to our model's face. See how the healthy flesh drains away? That's what the virus does to circulation as your body begins to fail. Rabies is only the beginning. In the Amazon rainforest, a fungus called Ophiocordyceps unilateralis controls the minds of carpenter ants. It invades their bodies, hijacks their nervous systems, and forces them to climb to a specific height where humidity is perfect. Then it sprouts through their heads like a grotesque antenna and releases spores to infect more ants. The ant stops being an ant. It becomes a puppet made of chitin and fungal threads. Could this happen to us? Most scientists say no. Our immune systems are too complex, our body temperature too high. But evolution is patient, and fungi are adapting to warmer climates as our planet heats. What happens when the line between impossible and inevitable starts to blur? Watch the contour shading now. See those hollow cheeks forming? That's muscle wasting. That's starvation as the body devotes everything to fighting an invader it cannot defeat. It starts with a bite, but it doesn't always need teeth. Toxoplasma gondii is a parasite that lives in cats and spreads through their feces. Nearly 1/3 of the human population carries it right now, inside you, potentially as you watch this. It forms cysts in your brain tissue and stays there for life. In most people, it does nothing, but studies show it changes behavior. Infected rats lose their fear of cats. They walk toward their predators instead of away. Human studies suggest links to risk-taking behavior, slower reaction times, even psychiatric conditions. Now imagine a mutation. Imagine a version that doesn't just nudge behavior, but controls it completely. The makeup artist is adding gray tones around the eyes now. Look at that 1,000-yard stare taking shape. That's not just exhaustion, that's the look of someone whose thoughts are no longer entirely their own. Then there are prions. These aren't even alive in the traditional sense. They're misfolded proteins that force other proteins to misfold too, creating a cascade of destruction through brain tissue. Mad cow disease, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, Kuru, which spread through the 4 people of Papua New Guinea when they practiced mortuary cannibalism. The brain becomes sponge-like, riddled with holes. Memory vanishes. Movement becomes impossible. There is no cure because prions can't be killed. They aren't living. How do you fight something that exists in the space between life and death? The prosthetic wounds being applied now, those ragged tears in the skin, they show what happens when the body turns on itself. when your own proteins become the enemy. Laboratory accidents have released pathogens before. In 1978, Janet Parker became the last person to die of smallpox after a lab leak at the University of Birmingham. Anthrax spores escaped from a Soviet military facility in 1979, killing at least 64 people in Sverdlovsk. These were known diseases, but what about the synthetic ones? Scientists have recreated extinct viruses from scratch using published genetic sequences. They've modified avian flu to spread more easily between mammals in the name of understanding pandemic potential. Every experiment walks a tightrope between knowledge and catastrophe. One slip, one containment failure, one sample in the wrong hands, and the makeup tutorial you're watching becomes a prophecy. Look at the contact lenses going in now. Those milky whites, those dilated pupils. That's what neurological damage looks like when it's too late to turn back. What would you do if the outbreak started tomorrow? Not in a movie, not in a game. In your city, your street, your home. The early cases would look like the flu. Fever, confusion, aggression. Hospitals would overflow within days. Supply chains would collapse within weeks. The social contract we take for granted, the idea that people will help each other, it frays fast when survival is on the line. How far would you go to protect the people you love? The time-lapse speeds up now. Hours of transformation compressed into seconds. Skin tone shifts from living warmth to corpse gray. Veins darken and rise. The creature emerging from the human face is us, just broken down and rebuilt by microscopic invaders we cannot see coming. It starts with a bite. But here's the revelation that should terrify you more than any single pathogen. It's not one virus or parasite that poses the real threat, it's convergence. It's climate change expanding the range of tropical diseases into temperate zones. It's deforestation pushing humans into contact with wildlife reservoirs of unknown pathogens. It's air travel connecting every outbreak to every population center within 24 hours. It's the erosion of public health systems and the rise of misinformation that makes coordinating a response nearly impossible. The blood being painted on now, dripping from the corners of the mouth, represents all the ways we're creating perfect conditions for something to emerge. Yet there's wonder here too if you look for it. The human immune system is a marvel of evolution. Your body is fighting invisible wars every second of every day and winning. The scientists studying these diseases aren't villains in a horror story. They're searching for vaccines, treatments, and early warning systems. They're trying to stay one step ahead of the next pandemic. The makeup artist's skill, the transformation you've watched unfold, it's a reminder of human creativity and our ability to imagine the worst so we can prepare for it. Art and science both require us to ask, what if? What if this happened? What if we could stop it? What if we're stronger than we think? The final details go on now. Torn clothing, dirt and grime. The illusion is complete. A person has become a warning sign. Every horror we invent comes from a kernel of truth, and the truth is that nature has been creating zombies long before we had a word for them. Ants climbing to their deaths, rats seeking out cats, humans losing themselves to brain-eating amoebas in warm freshwater lakes. The difference is scale and speed. The difference is whether we're paying attention. You've watched this face change over the course of minutes. A real outbreak would move slower at first, then faster than anyone expected. By the time you recognized it, by the time the transformation was visible, it would already be too late for that person. So what does this mean for you, sitting safely wherever you are, watching a screen? It means awareness matters. It means funding research matters. It means understanding that the next pandemic isn't a question of if, but when. It means looking at the makeup tutorial and seeing past the artistry to the science that inspired it. It means asking yourself what role you'd play. Would you be the one who saw the signs early, the one who prepared, the one who helped others even when it was dangerous? Or would you freeze, hoping someone else would solve it? The transformation is complete now. The model stands, and what looks back at you through the camera isn't human anymore. But it was. It was human just minutes ago. The world is fragile in ways we prefer not to think about. A single mutation, a single mistake, a single crossover event from animal to human. That's all it takes. We paint horror on our faces for entertainment, but nature has been perfecting horror for billions of years. The real zombie apocalypse won't announce itself with moaning and shuffling. It will start with a cough, a headache, and a slight fever. It will look like 1,000 other illnesses until it doesn't. Until the hospitals are full, until the streets are empty, until we realize we painted the wrong picture all along. The makeup washes off, the model returns to being human. But somewhere, in a cave or a lab or a warming ecosystem, something is evolving, something is waiting. And when it arrives, will we recognize it in time? Subscribe to Think What If for more worlds you should never forget.